I missed the first part. No, no, typically, I'm supposed to be male. I'm working with rabbi, but I don't think rabbi. But they do need a few people who actually live. Okay. I just sent you over. So I understand you're from up in Wisconsin, correct? So do you know Bishop? Just became Bishop. Pop cough. So then you know who he is.
I know.
Why am I?
Many years. I was with his mother.
Oh, really? Good thing I'm happy. Yes. Sarafi, Voltage, that's it. You know him?
I haven't seen him.
He's actually a friend of mine.
Is he still living in the Madison area or something?
I think he spends a lot of time between Milwaukee and Third Lake. So, kind of a traveling bishop, so to speak. At least my dealings are very nice man.
There's three tribes of
Not always happy, but people are surprised that
and so, everyone else, I don't know, Israelis are
It's nice to meet you. I'm father. I'm not father, I'm Bill Goodman. Nice to meet you.
I was thinking the same thing. Papa Smurf.
That's the other reason I put you in there.
Like two bunk beds. You have a phone in here.
Check, check. Ooh, that is much better. That was very nice.
Yeah, the bucket sits on a post. Yeah, yeah. That connects to the live stream. So that we get a clear sound out. If I could ask for the individuals who will be acting as pallbearers, please come to the funeral coach.
Ooh, it's windy.
We bet last night on the,
Yes.
on the Zoom.
We'll ask everyone else to gather by the family behind the hearse, please.
High school friends over there. Just everyone was over there. I got to want to see my wife.
I was gonna say, I'm a little nervous standing next to you.
This one?
Careful, you're just barely still on the wood here.
Excuse me.
Okay, we'll ask the family to be seated, please. The family has arranged for some additional seating. Taking advantage of them if you need them would not be seen as a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of wisdom. So if you need to be seated, please take advantage of the chairs.
I just said.
We're about to begin our service. If I could ask everyone to please turn your cell phones to their silent mode. Conducting our service today is Rabbi Aaron Braun.
We still have lots of seats if anybody wants to come into the second row here. We'll begin today with a psalm, Tehillim Tedvav, Psalm 15. Mizmor LeDavid Adonai mi yegor ba'olecha miyishkan behar kadshecha. A song of David, Lord, who may sojourn in your tent, who may dwell on your holy mountain. Holech tamim uvo'el tzedek v'dover emet b'levavo. One who walks in purity does what is righteous and speaks the truth from the heart. Lo ragal al lashono lo asa l're'ehu ra'a v'chepa lo nasa al krovo. Who has no slander on the tongue, nor has done harm to a fellow, nor cast disgrace towards a neighbor. Nivzeh be'einav mimas ve'et yirei Adonai yechabed. Nishba lahara v'lo yamir, in whose eyes a contemptible person is repulsive, but who honors those who are in awe of the Lord, who swears truthfully even to personal hurt and never retracts. Kaspo lo natan b'neshech v'shochad al naki lo lakach oseh ele lo yamot le'olam, who does not lend money on interest nor takes a bribe against the innocent. One who does these things shall never falter. It is traditional and observant Jewish homes that on Friday nights the family serenades the matriarch with a passage from Mishle, from Proverbs. We'll read a couple of lines of that today. Eshet chayil miyimsa v'rachot mi'minim mikra batach ba le'bala v'shala lo yechsar gemalat hu tov v'lo ra kol yemei chayah Darshat Semer Fishtim V'Ta'as B'Chafetz Kapeha Haita Kanita Socher Mirchak Tavi Lachma. A gallant woman who can find far beyond pearls is her worth. Her husband's heartfelt trust is in her, and he shall lack for nothing. She bestows good upon him and never harm all the days of her life. She seeks out wool and linen, and her hands work willingly. She is like a merchant fleet, bringing her sustenance from afar. She arises while it is yet night and gives provision to her household and direction to her maidens. She envisions a field and acquires it from the fruit of her handiwork. She Pia patcha b'chachma v'torat chesed al lashona. Sophia halichot beta v'lechem atzlut lo tochel. Kamu v'neha v'ashrua ba'ala v'halala. Rabot banot asochayo v'atalit al kulana. Sheker achen v'hevel ayofi. Isha yirat Adonai hi tihalal. Tnu la mipri yadeha v'alalua. V'shari ma'aseh. Her mouth is open with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She oversees the ways of her household and partakes not of the bread of laziness. Her children rise and praise her husband, and he lauds her. Many daughters have accomplished well, but you surpass them all. Grace is false and beauty is vain. A woman in awe of God, she should be praised. Give her the fruits of her own hand, and let her deeds praise her in the gathering places. We have gathered today to begin the process of saying goodbye to a loving, caring, involved, and active sister, aunt, cousin, and friend, not to mention family historian and genealogy expert. Bonnie was full of life, and while not in perfect health, she still maintained a sunny disposition and a full social calendar to the extent her body would let her get around. She thrived at the Park Plaza, and it seems that the more life would try to push Bonnie down, the more she blossomed. She was fun, and as Jess described her, one of a kind. Or as I was told, the original Bonnie. I'll leave it to Jamie to explain that one, as I really have no idea what that means, except to say that Bonnie meant something to the people in her life. If nothing else was clear when talking to the family yesterday about her, she made an impact, and the relationships she forged in her time here were meaningful. She affected people and left a positive mark on their lives. She will be missed, and her absence is felt today and will be felt for many days to come. Together we continue her memory and her legacy in the stories and the moments shared. Though she will not sit again at your tables, in your homes, or on the other end of a telephone call, you can help to keep her presence in your lives by telling her story and thinking of her when you gather. Keep her memory alive with the stories, and she will live on in your lives. Born Bonnie Mae Block in Chicago, Illinois, to Samuel and Arlene Block on Monday, May 12, 1947. Bonnie grew up along with younger brother Richard on the south side of Chicago. Her father Samuel worked for the railroad company, and her mother worked as a bookkeeper firm. Together, they made a humble but reliable home for Bonnie and Richard to grow up in. Bonnie would attend Horace Mann School on South Chapel Avenue off of East 81st Street. Eventually, she would attend the South Shore High School just 5 blocks north of South Constance Avenue. Bonnie would graduate in 1965 and go straight to work. She found a job as a buyer at the late Crawford's department stores. She would work there for almost 30 years. That's some dedication and loyalty. She would live with her parents and eventually just her mother in the South Shore neighborhood, then eventually off Sheridan Road, moving later to Skokie and various locations, before moving out on her own off of Galitz Street. There she lived in a condo with her cat, Mandy. She loved Mandy, and they had a very close relationship. About 10 years later, she would move in with a friend at a place in Morton Grove off of Lehigh. She remained there for about 9 years until a bout of some illness caused the loss of her friend and roommate Alice, and nearly cost Bonnie too. It was only then that she moved to the Park Plaza, where she remained until just this last Friday. Oddly, it was at the Park Plaza that Bonnie really thrived. She was finally surrounded by lots of Jewish neighbors, and she loved seeing all the same people every day. She was a social butterfly. It wasn't just the residents at Park Plaza, though. Bonnie spoke to her cousin Jane every single Saturday night, I'm told, and had frequent chats with Carol as well. As a child, all the cousins and family lived so close that Bonnie's closest friends were in fact family, and she maintained those relationships for a lifetime. Bonnie was the one who knew who everyone was, how they were related, and all the family connections. She loved being independent, though. She wanted to learn everything, even if it didn't come easy to her. She wasn't the most tech-savvy, and yet when the department store went out of business, she found a way to open an online store. After a short stint working in an office, she opened up Be Smart Incorporated online. She would go to shows and buy miniatures wholesale and then list them and sell them retail. It was her passion. She loved building in miniature, from a dollhouse to a general store or a whole block. She would spend hours crafting and building from scratch these elaborate builds. She turned that into an online store, and her passion became her job. She had other passions too. Bonnie loved to paint and taught painting classes at the Park Plaza. She sang solos in the variety shows. She loved music and musicals, and she sang in the choir at the Park Plaza as well as her synagogue. She was a Renaissance woman with many talents and passions. But chief among them was her family. She loved time with her niece and nephews, as well as their children and spouses. And when she was younger, she also loved to travel, whether it was the regular trips to New York for work or the many cruises and various trips she took. She lived life to the fullest that she could, while still staying grounded and making sure the family stayed close. She was classy and had her priorities right. I didn't know Bonnie personally, but her life certainly tells an inspiring story of good morals and work-life balance. We should all strive to put family first and make our passions our life's work. This past week in synagogues around the world, we read from the Torah in the parsha named Ki Tisa. Ki Tisa covers lots of topics, including appointing the individuals in charge of building the sanctuary. They are named in the portion, and the explanation of why they are given such a great responsibility is that they are, quote, wise-hearted individuals. It's an unusual phrase. After all, we usually think of wisdom referring to one's head or brain. So what does it mean to be wise-hearted? The answer lies far beyond simple learning, but rather in one's character and perhaps their priorities. It's the compassion and caring that often can't be taught. As I thought about Ki Tisa this morning, it occurred to me that Bonnie could have been characterized in this way. She was wise-hearted. She knew to put family first and prioritize her love for friends and family above all else. She found joy in her work and her hobbies and dedicated herself to keeping the family history and recording the genealogy. She was the wise heart in so many people's lives. May you find joy in your hobbies as she did. May you keep your friends close and always find time to talk regularly to those you are closest to. May you support each other as she supported you. May you live a life of meaning and always put family first. And may the memory of Bonnie Mae Block, the daughter of Samuel and Arlene Block, Bela Bat Shmuel, be an everlasting blessing. At this point, I'd like to invite up her sister-in-law, Penny Block, to share a few words. Just watch your step. There's a little bit of a depression there.
I have my printer. I still didn't get the printer to work, Jess, so I had. Okay.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Let's get this done.
Okay. Bonnie was a special person and my sister-in-law for almost 52 years. She always said that I was a sister that she never had, and we spent many hours together. I learned everything I know about both the Block and Pinchot families from her, and she made sure that none of us forgot any detail by reiterating her stories multiple times. As mentioned, family was a priority for her, and she looked forward to holiday celebrations and more recently to bar and bat mitzvahs of her great nieces and nephews. Bonnie was outspoken, not shy about expressing her opinions, to keeping us all on our toes. She was especially excited when her nephews and niece were born, and went out of her way to babysit and spend time with them. We shared a vacation home in Wisconsin for 8 years with her, so she was able to spend quality time with them as the kids grew up. During the last 8 years, Bonnie's health declined. She, however, was very determined to live a full and productive life and bounced back several times. Even during her final illness, we still expected her to recover and return to Park Plaza to play bingo with Jerry and sing in the choir. Unfortunately, it was just too much for her this time, and she did not want to continue living if she could no longer enjoy her life. She was so much a constant in all of our lives, and we will miss her. And one last thing I want to add is Bonnie's favorite treat was my cherry top cake that I actually have passed down from my mother. And so my kids for this occasion wanted me to bake a cherry top cake. So my 2 youngest granddaughters came over yesterday afternoon and we baked a cherry top cake. And so we will serve that at the Shiva. Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to invite up Jess, Corey, and Jay a few words.
I wrote a book. Today we gather to not only mourn the loss of Bonnie, but to celebrate the life that she lived and the memories that were made. Bonnie was the gatekeeper of our family history, the one who knew the stories of where we came from and the glue that connected all of our family to their past. For my brothers and me, she had unique nicknames. Jess was Misery, Corey was Sugar, and I was her Sugar Plum. To Bonnie, they were terms of... and she always let us know how special we were to her. Bonnie loved to give unique gifts. During the Cabbage Patch craze of the 1980s, while everyone was hunting for these dolls, Bonnie, being the creative person she was, made me one. It didn't quite look exactly like the ones everyone else had, but it was mine, and it was so loved. Bonnie also had a deep love for miniatures, and she shared her passion with me by building me a dollhouse from scratch, a gift that was a true reflection of her creativity. But perhaps one of my favorite things about Bonnie was her unwavering dedication to her family. She was my Grandma Arlen's constant companion, always taking the best care of her, ensuring she was loved and supported through thick and thin. Bonnie's love for her family was immeasurable. Nothing made her happier than spending time with her extended family, her aunts, uncles, cousins, and everyone she considered family. She lived for our annual Block Dwartz family picnic, filled with reminiscence and connection meant the world to her. Bonnie had an incredibly strong sense of identity. When Jess began dating, Aunt Bonnie made it very clear that she was the first Bonnie Block. From then on, to avoid confusion, we all referred to her as the original, a title she wore with pride. To our children, she was simply known as BB. Throughout her life, Bonnie made many friends, but it was later in life that she found some of her dearest and most loyal companions. Her friend Alice became her roommate and confidant, and the two of them shared a deep bond until Alice's passing. When illness made it difficult for Bonnie to work or drive, she moved into Park Plaza, where she found a new chapter of happiness. She joined the choir, taught art classes, played bingo and mahjong, and found both new friends and eventually a boyfriend, Jerry. We're so grateful that she found someone like Jerry who brought her so much joy in her later years. We only wish she had found him earlier in her life, as they truly made each other happy. Throughout it all, my parents played a significant role in Bonnie's life. She often referred to my mom as her angel. My parents, brothers, and I all took part in ensuring her needs were met, and I think it's a testament to the support and care we gave her, especially in the last few years. Bonnie always spoke her mind and never shied away from letting her feelings be known. Her strong will and desire for independence made her a force to be reckoned with. She drove us all a little crazy at times, and I'm pretty sure the feeling was mutual. From the stories she shared to the bonds she made, Bonnie's presence will live on in all of those who loved her. Bonnie, we will miss you dearly, but we are comforted by the fact that you are now at peace.
I'm going to read something from her neighbor, Betty, who sent this to me this morning, and we read it and thought it was very appropriate and just a great homage to her. Dear Jess and family, when looking back at all Bonnie and I have shared, it's hard for me to realize we have only known each other for a little over 1.5 years. She and Jerry greeted me warmly even before I had moved into Park Plaza, and she became a great next-door neighbor from the moment I moved into the apartment where we shared a wall. We bonded almost immediately and soon became... Sharing basic values, we rejoiced in each other's accomplishments and happy celebrations. Bonnie loved her niece and nephew so much, and I always enjoyed hearing about the loving things you all did for her. Helping each other put together our outfits for bar mitzvahs, banquets, and multiple special occasions, we even had the right or give to each other to wear for some wonderful experiences. This added an extra element of joy to what we celebrated. Admiring each other's artistic endeavors and singing together in the Park Plaza Choir added more delight to our shared lives. Comfort to me, and I loved being able to simply run out my door and into hers to discuss our latest good news and vent our frustrations. Bonnie, I Shem for allowing me to have had this short time with you in my life.
Tehillim Chav Gimel, Psalm 23. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai Roi Lo Echsar Bina Deshe, Yarbitzeni Al Mei Menuchot Yinahaleni, Nashi Yeshovev, Yancheni V'Magle Tzedek Laman Shemo Gam Ki Elech, Begates Al Mavet Lo Irara Ki Ata Imadi, Shivtecha Umishantecha Hema Yenachamuni, Taroch Lefanai Shochan Neged Sororai Dishanta Vashem En Roshi, Kosi Rivayai. Ach tov v'chesed yudefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'veit Adonai le'orech yamim. We join together in the service booklets, Psalm 23 in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Ask everybody to please rise as we say a memorial prayer. El Melech Rachamim Shochet Bamromim Hamitzei Menucha Nechona Al Kanfei Hashchina B'mahalot Kiroshim Utehorim Harakia Masiri Kezohar Harakia Masirim Ed Nishmat Bela Bat Shmo Shachaha Le'olama Ba'avor Sha'anachnu Mipalelim Be'ad Haskarat Nishmata Began Eden Tehei Menuchata Lachein Baal Harachamim Yastireha B'setek Nefol Olamim Vayitzor B'tzor Chayim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata V'tanuach B'shalom Al Mishkava V'nomahar Amen. God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant proper repose on the sheltering wings of your presence in the lofty levels of the holy and the pure, who shine as the brightness of the firmament unto the soul of Bonnie Mae Block, the daughter of Samuel and Arlene Block, who has gone to her world and for whose memory we pray. May her repose be in paradise. May the Master of Compassion bring her under the cover of God's wings and bind her soul in the bond of life. May the Lord be her heritage, and may she repose on her resting place in peace. And let us respond, Amen. You may be seated.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who is the true judge.
Shiva will be observed at the Black residence at 1204 Laurel Avenue in Deerfield, Illinois, today following the service and until 8 p.m. It will also be observed at the Park Plaza Retirement Center, and that's going to be Tuesday from 12:30.
It is Jewish tradition that we don't merely leave the burial of our loved ones to others, but rather participate ourselves. It's considered the greatest mitzvah, as it's the one favor we pay to our loved ones that can never be repaid. So as soon as they clear the machinery here, we'll ask the immediate family, followed by family and friends to step forward. Please keep a few things in mind, one of which is the ground's a little soft because it's been wet out, so please be abundantly careful of the edges and the wood boards so we don't have any accidents. Also, it's traditional that we don't pass the shovel from person to person. It just shows our hesitation to perform this important mitzvah. And if you would like to, it's traditional to use the spade or the shovel upside down for just the first little bit. Again, it shows our hesitation to perform this mitzvah. So I'll ask the family to please step forward.
You can come from this side or around the other side, whichever you prefer. Careful. Come this side too.
Right up here.
Whatever's.
There's also a bucket on the far side if you're not comfortable using the shovel as well.
I recommend super glue, but I was gonna say it becomes a little more permanent than you may want. I was gonna say the sticks are a little bit this way.
Oh, I know, I saw him already. He's easy to skin. It is.
And she told me all the time. But you know, it's like if you weren't available, then I well, you know. But Bonnie was the one like, she came up, it's like, oh, my age. Yeah, that was a big thing when you were a kid.
We'll see.
Okay, I'm going.
No more driving. I think I can see better. You know what it is? I go to two doctors. I got it in 2020 and it hasn't changed. I only, in 1988,
Now it's like they do the grid. They got 3 children in the grid. It's like, get there. Just get there.
Yeah, these are my daughters.
Yes. Just fresh air.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's all
the other one fell in ice last year. Broke her wrist. She just finished
It's okay.
No, I'm so scared of falling. And I don't, and I still live in my house. My house is little. So I went to 25. What would you do? I almost, well, I don't think he's here, but
I thought John was Carrie.
Sue and Carrie were coming until they found out their cemetery wasn't.
and she's almost at the shop.
If I could ask everybody to join together under the tent again. הצור תמים פועלו כי כל דרכיו משפט אל אמונה ואין אבל צדיק וישר הוא. הצור תמים בכל פעל מי יאמר לו מה תפעל, השליט ומטה ובמעל, ממית ומחיה מוריד שאול ויעל. The rock, perfect is God's work, for all God's paths are just. God of faith without iniquity, righteous and fair is God. The rock, perfect in every work, who can tell God what to do? God rules below and above, causes death and restores life, lowers down to the grave and raises up. Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevarach, v'hu rachum mechaber avon v'lo yishchit, v'hir ba'al ha'ashiv v'apol v'lo yirkol chamato. The Lord is given, and the Lord is taken away. Blessed is the name of the Lord, and God the merciful one will forgive iniquity and not destroy, frequently withdrawing anger, not arousing the entirety of God's rage. At this point, we'll stand as the family recites Kaddish, which is in the service booklet. You ready? Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah B'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon chayid chol beit Yisrael b'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah b'varach le'olam lo'omel maya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'rechu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Le'ei shlam rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imro ma'avuya oseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. At this point, we'll ask everyone present to make 2 lines going back to the road. After we do this, you can come back if you want to stand by while they finish the burial. But we're going to make an aisle, just 2 lines.
And Richard, you're going to actually walk through the line.
Come on, children, let's go. Form a line on this side.
We'll make the line. So, thank you so much for this.
As the family walks through, we lift them Hamakom Yenachem Netzem, Rishal Shara, Vele Sion, Yerushalayim, and the omnipresent console you among the other mourners of Zion and Yerushalayim. Hamakom Yenachem Netzem, Rishal Shara, Vele Sion, Yerushalayim. Our services here are now concluded. We'll ask your card. You wish to stay and witness the complete closure of the grave, you may do that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.